Namaste yogis, welcome back to your practice. This is Steven from YogaWorks, and today I'm going to take you through part 4 of our Start to Yoga Beginner series. And I named this session Letting Go because it's important to put in the effort, to go through the challenge, to strengthen, to learn all these poses and to check and get the alignment as best as possible. But it's equally important to come out of a yoga class feeling relaxed, feeling a sense of freedom, feeling a sense of letting go of the outcome. If we're only going to be doing the pushing harder and the strengthening aspects, then we're going to miss out on almost half of what the yoga practice can offer, which is a sense of being okay where you are right now. So there's a component of putting in the effort, but there's a big component of letting go and just returning, showing up, doing the best you can at that moment on that day, and hopefully doing this for many years. Hopefully this is the start of a lifelong journey for the rest of your life. This is one of the advantages, in my opinion, of a yoga practice, is that we can modify it in such a way that it works when you get older, it works when you get injured, it works when you get tired or stressed, or when you want to sweat and get really strong. In all of these situations, yoga can be adapted and be a really helpful companion for the rest of your life. So on the physical level, we're going to be focusing on forward bends, which is when we're going to be basically folding the torso over the legs in some way or another. And a second component we'll look into is twists, where we'll rotate the spine around its central axis. I think the combination of these two always makes me feel really relaxed, calm, grounded afterwards, and hopefully you'll feel the same at the end of this session. So come to a comfortable seat. You can always sit up on the block, you can sit cross-legged as well, or on the shin like me. And then close your eyes, just take a moment to arrive here, to welcome yourself to your practice. Whatever came before, let that rest in the past. Whatever you still have to do after this, allow that to not form part of the current moment. You'll get to these things when the time is right. And for now, just feel the restfulness of your body on the earth underneath you. And at the same time, feel the sense of length, of space in the upper body as the crown of your head rises up towards the sky. We'll be doing a brief breathing exercise called Lengthening the out breath, a really good one to tap into a feeling of calm presence in a very short period of time. You'll see it just now. So before we start, take a slow breath in. A slow breath out. Remember all the breaths in and out through the nose. And then a slow inhale, 2, 3, 4. No tension. A slow exhale, 2, 3, 4. Feel the body soften as you exhale. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Brief pause at the end, nothing much. Exhale for 2, 3, 4. Little pause at the bottom. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. We started lengthening the out breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Notice. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause at the top, no tension. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, rest at the top of the inhale. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it gets too much, then just revert to 4 or 5 on the exhale, no problem. 2 more rounds. Inhale, 2, 3, and 4. Listen. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Enjoy the feeling of being in touch with your breath, with your body. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let the breath return to normal. Take a few recovery breaths in your own time. Just notice the after effects of this breathing exercise. And this is an easy one to do wherever you find yourself, even in traffic, at your desk, at home. You don't need a yoga teacher to do this by yourself. And then blink your eyes open. We're going to come into a seated pose that you may not have done before. So turn sort of towards the corner of your mat and have your right knee out to the right, and then the left knee close to the right foot. And then just check where your feet are. They should be about hip distance apart from each other, maybe a little bit wider. Keep them that way. So now the feet are going to stay grounded in the same spot. The knees are going to move side to side in this little warm-up exercise. So start to bring the knees up, keep your feet where they are, and just lower the knees to the opposite side. Almost like windscreen wipers going from left to right. Go back to the right where we started, and then back to the left. And then just feel where you feel this. If your knees don't go all the way down, it's perfectly fine to keep them a little bit off the mat, of course. Just feel inside the hip joints, what you can feel here. We're rotating the thigh bones in the hip sockets. And just do this a couple of times. It's a nice idea to do inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. If it's too much, you can walk your hands further away from you. Or if you want a little bit more intensity, walk the hands closer, so then sit up as tall as you can. And there's one more option. There's always more options actually. But if you want to use a little bit more of your core strength, then you can try and not use the hands down at all. Just keep them out in front of you. And just feel these movements, the thigh bones in the hip sockets linked to the core and the spine and the shoulders, the head, all one complete system that interacts with each other. Last one to the right, last one to the left. Now go back to the right for a moment. You might have been sliding around on your mat, quite normal. And we'll add a twist here so the legs stay the same. Just take your left hand and reach it far away from you at the diagonal, and then soften the chest down. We're not trying to go as low as possible, but we're trying to get a nice twist and a side bend here. So soften down for a moment. Push that left hand down into the floor. And then lift up. Let's swap the legs. Do the same on the other side. Take your right hand and reach far, 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 far away. And soften the chest down a little. And with the right hand, push the floor down. Nice little twist, nice warm up. This is one of my favorites in my home practice. Just to create a sense of openness, of space around the hips, the side body, the spine. And then slowly lift back up. Nice. Come into hands and knees, and then just step your right foot forward. So have a good distance between the back knee and the front foot. And then staying on the fingertips, start to pull your right hip back. Go a little bit softly in the beginning, keep it mild, and then re-bend. And again, pull the right hip back. Keep digging that right heel down as you do this, and move forward. So we're just warming up all the muscles around the hips. I will focus a little bit extra on the hamstrings, which are the backs of the thighs today, because that's a big part of the forward folding. You will, if you find you're a little bit restricted, it's probably due to some hamstring and lower back tightness. So doing this regularly can really help. Nice. Next time you come into the hip back, keep this for now, and then pull the hip back a little bit. Now do one more thing, lengthen your chest, forward and up. Not down and rounded, but forward and up. Keep pulling that right hip back, keep pushing the right heel down. And then swap legs. Right knee, step it back. Left foot, step it forward. A good distance between left foot, right knee. And then here we go, stay on fingertips. Pull the left hip back and move forward. It should feel amazing. If it feels terrible, then you're probably going a little bit too far. You're trying to push too hard. So just keep it soothing. Allow your body to open up in its own time. And make it fun and enjoyable. If this is not fun, then you'll just never come back to it, which is not what we want to achieve at all, of course. Couple more. And then last one, we're gonna hold for a little bit longer. Pull the left hip back. Instead of rounding and trying to lower the head down, slide your head and your chest forward and push that left hip back. Pull the left hip back. At the same time, ground the left heel down. Almost like you're trying to drag the left foot back, but it's stuck on your mat. Just feel left hamstring and whatever else is in your experience, it's fine. And then left knee back. Now keep your hips stacked above your knees here and just step your hands a big step forward and then soften the head down. This is sometimes called puppy pose or anahatasana, the heart opening pose. And then lift up just halfway, take your left hand, slide it under the right armpit and place the outside edge of the shoulder down. So now we're adding a twist, really good for upper back and around the shoulders. And then left hand back, right hand slide it under. Nice. Right hand back, bring the hands a good bit closer, tuck your toes under and come into downward facing dog. Pedal the legs out for a couple of moments, or do whatever movements that feel good. Right now it's still early on in the practice, so we want to ease in, start to make the body feel comfortable and capable before we start to move a little bit more. And then just a moment of stillness in your down dog. Press the hands and the feet down, lift the hip points up, and engage your core to keep your center strong. Nice, and then slowly walk your feet forward to the front of the mat and come into a squat. So place your feet a little bit wider, the toes can turn out a little bit, and then soften the hips down. If you need to lift the heels to do this, that's okay. Or you can always roll up your mat and place it under the heels to have a little bit more support. The hands can just rest in front of you, or you can have hands at the heart. Take a breath or two in this stretch. It's kind of forward fold because the thighs and the torso are coming together. Really nice hip work as well. So if you can build this into your day a little bit more, it's going to be really beneficial for your movement capacity. Nice. Then I want to take you through a little tutorial before we start to move a little bit more, which is about the Chaturanga. I'm just going to show you the full Chaturanga for a moment. If I'm in plank, I'm going to go into Chaturanga like this. I'm going to reach forward with the chest. I'm going to bend the elbows, keep the core strong, and hover. It's like a low push-up. Hover just above the mat. It's not a walk in the park, and what I've noticed in my experience, a lot of yoga teachers are not often teaching this pose. So I'm just going to take a moment so that we can build it in and it becomes part of your repertoire. Nice. So for a moment, imagine you're in plank. So sit on the heels and press your hands forward. Flex your wrists so you're pushing the hands down on an imaginary floor here. So this is plank. Now, bring the elbows into your sides, squeeze them in a little bit, and still flex the wrists so you're pushing down. So this is the arms in Chaturanga. And then go back to the plank arms, which is hands straight or arms straight, hands pushing down. Now, if you notice between the two, my hands are moving, which is not going to be possible on the mat, of course. They're going to be stuck in one place. So actually what's going to happen, do this with me, start in the plank arms, and then start to lift your chest up and bring the elbows to your sides. This is Chaturanga. And then slowly go back, we're going back to plank. Imagine we're pushing the floor away. And then the chest is going to lift, come up onto your knees and bring the elbows to your sides. Nice. Try not to roll the shoulders forward. Keep the upper back strong, the chest broad. Let's do one more time. Plank. Chaturanga. Nice. Now come onto your knees. Place your hands quite a bit in front of you. And then find your plank pose just to check the distance. We're going to lower the knees again so we don't have too much weight on the arms. Keep the belly strong. Now lean forward like we've done just before. Bend the elbows a little bit. This is Chaturanga. You can straighten the legs, but it's going to be easier to learn with your knees down. And then push back up. Let's do one more. Strong belly. Shoulders above the wrists. Lean the shoulders forward. Now bend the elbows, strong belly, and hover. This is Chaturanga. And forget about it. We'll get back to this in the flow. For now, just come to mountain pose at the top of the mat. Hands to your heart. Feet rooted down. Head in the skies. Feel the heart beat behind your thumbs. Feel the breath flow with ease. Inhale all the way up. Stretch your fingertips up to the sky. Exhale to fold all the way down. Remember, you can bend your knees, always a good idea. Inhale to flat back, push the shins back with your hands. Lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, bend the knees again, fold forward into the space. Inhale to rise, push your feet down, go all the way up. We're just setting a rhythm for our practice. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, take your time, dive down. You can use your belly to forward fold. Inhale, flat back, now using the back muscles to lift you up. Exhale, forward fold, feel the belly contract. Inhale to rise, go all the way up, find space, find length. Exhale, hands back to the heart. I'm going to start adding the step back sun salutations. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, take your time, go all the way down, use the whole out breath. Inhale, slow it down where you can, flat back. Just feel, just notice. Exhale, fingertips down, the right foot steps back, right knee touches down. You've got options, you can just stay here, you can have hands on the front knee, or just for one inhale, lift the arms up, low lunge. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale in down dog. Exhale, step the right foot forward, the left knee down. Inhale to lift the arms, or you can keep the hands down. Exhale to fingertips down, step forward, fold. Inhale, can you find a restful feeling even as you're going through these sun salutations? Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, feel the breath lifting the arms up as it were. Exhale, soften, sigh. You can still make that sighing sound at the back of the throat, the ujjayi breath. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fingertips down, the left foot steps back lightly and lower the knee. Stay here or inhale, lift the arms. Exhale to down dog. Take a breath in down dog, feel the points of support, the hands and the feet. Inhale here. Exhale the left foot forward, try to step lightly the right knee down. Stay here or inhale one breath, the arms up. Exhale to step forward and let go. Inhale, rise. Exhale back to center, hands to heart. One more round, we'll add some cobra poses into this one. Inhale. Exhale, use the belly to fold yourself in half. Inhale, use the back to lift you up, flat back. Exhale, fingertips down, the right foot back, lower the right knee. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, this time set up for plank pose. Remember, there's always the option to lower the knees. In fact, everyone lower the knees for this first Chaturanga. Remember, we're not going straight down. That's a bad alignment for your shoulders. If you do that too many times, you're going to get shoulder injuries. You need to go forward, forward, forward. Keep the belly strong. Bend the elbows. You have to bend the elbows a lot. Maybe just a little bit is good in the beginning. And then lower all the way down. Good. Place your fingertips wide outside your chest, probably off the mat. Lift the elbows a little bit higher. And then just lift up into a form of cobra pose. I find this one really nice after a lot of computer work, long days of sitting. And then slowly come down, hands next to chest, toes stuck under. You can always bring the hips back to your heels and then lift into down dog. From downward facing dog, step your right foot forward. Lower the left knee down and lift your arms, low lunge. Lower the hands, step forward, forward fold, exhale. Inhale to rise, go all the way up and reach your hands to the sky. And exhale, hands back to the heart center. Last side, the left foot, inhale, rise. Exhale, soften as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, push the shins back with the hands. Exhale, fingertips down, step your left foot back and lower it to the ground. Inhale, lift the arms, low lunge pose. Exhale, the hands down, step back to plank pose. So the last time we lowered the knees, this time if you want, you can give it a try with the knees up. Obviously it's a lot harder, so pick the choice that is the wisest, the best for you. Inhale to lean a little bit forward. Exhale, bend your elbows a little bit, Chaturanga, to all the way down, well done. Hands go wide outside your shoulders. Push the fingertips down and lift the chest, look forward. And then slowly lower down. Hands next to chest, press back onto all fours, and from there, downward facing dog. Inhale in downward facing dog. Exhale to step the left foot forward, the right knee down. Inhale to lift the arms, stretch up to the sky. Exhale to fold forward and let go. Inhale, rise, go all the way up. Exhale, hands back to the heart center. Take a moment, feel your body, feel the breath move. As from here, just fold forward, your feet are still hip distance apart. I'll show you a nice twist in a forward fold. Place the left hand under the face, a little bit forward from the feet. And then straighten the right leg a little bit, bend the left knee a good amount, and then reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Stretch up, maybe look up with the gaze to see your right thumb in the corner of your eye, and then slowly release. It swaps sides, the right hand under your face. This time the right knee bends a lot, the left knee is straightening, or maybe not all the way, doesn't matter. Lift the left arm up, stretch up to the left fingers, maybe look up. One more breath. And exhale to let go. Now wiggle your feet a bit closer together so the big toes are just touching, the heels are slightly apart, and then as you bend your knees, sit the hips a little bit back, go extra low. And then keep that, just bring hands to the heart. Start to twist and move your left elbow over your right knee, press your palms together. Still bending your knees a lot. Wow, this pose is intense. It's also forward fold and a twist together, so you can see they're not always relaxing. And exhale, forward fold, release. Some forward folds and twists are really soothing and softening, and some are really intense and strengthening. We'll end with a nice relaxing end session down on the mat, don't worry. But for now, let's do the other side. Here comes your new favorite yoga pose. I don't know, it's possible, right? So bend the knees a lot, hands to heart. Let's go right elbow over the left knee. Push the hands together. Turn the chest to the side. Don't forget to breathe. Oh yes, that's right. Almost forgot. And then relax everything down. Good, let's just step back to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Lower the left knee down. And then slowly come up with the hands to the heart. Nice. From the strong foundation, feel the twist coming from your waist. Turn your chest to the right. You can even touch your hands to your under the rib cage just to feel those muscles. They're called the obliques. And then hook your left elbow over the right knee. Press the hands a little bit together. Turn the chest to the side. A moment or two in this twist here. And then, as we've done before, you can tuck the back toes under and use that to maybe lift the back knee off the mat. Nice. Keep this. Place your left hand inside the right foot. If you haven't lifted the back knee yet, then do it now. And then reach your right arm straight up. And maybe look up with your gaze. This is easy twist. Keep the back leg strong. Drop the right hip as best as you can. Nice. From here, look down at the right foot. Start to wiggle it back so it's more or less in line with the hips. At the same time, come onto the outside edge of that left foot. And instead of hanging all the way down, start to push the mat away with both of your feet and the left hand and reach the right arm up. So this is a version of the side plank pose, really good to strengthen. And we're getting a nice outer hip stretch here. Actually, I'll show you the full version as well, just in case you are keen to try, which is the right foot on top of the left. But if that's too much, then just keep the right foot in front of the left hip, no problem. Lower the right hand down, downward facing dog. This is one of those moments the yoga teacher might say, you can take a vinyasa if you like, or you can move through vinyasa. At this point, it's up to you. You lower your knees, you rest in child's pose, or you decide, no, I need to move a little bit more and keep going, in which case you can move to plank. You can always lower the knees, slow Chaturanga, the chest goes forward, remember? And then you do your back bend, upward facing dog. There's cobra, there's locust, there's sphinx. We've been through a whole repertoire which you can start to intermix into your practice. Downward facing dog, well done. From here, left foot forward, right knee, place it down. Lift up, hands to the heart. Strong legs, remember that pulling together underneath you for a strong foundation. Turn the chest to the left. Keep the strength in the waist as the right elbow hooks over the left knee. Press the two together and turn a little bit more. Couple of breaths. Harder to breathe, of course, when you're in a demanding pose like this and your torso is twisted, but that's the challenge. See where the breath can still flow, maybe in the back body, maybe in the waist, maybe in the chest. Maybe tuck back toes under, lift that right knee off the mat. Totally optional, of course, you can keep the right knee down as well. And then right hand, place it inside the left foot and reach the left arm up. Lift the back knee off the mat if you haven't done that already. Easy twist. Push the mat away. And then look down at the left foot. Start to wiggle it more towards the middle of the mat, so in front of the hips. Turn onto the outside of your right foot. Instead of just hanging down, lift up. Resist the mat away and lift that left arm up. Version of side plank, you can stay. Or if you're having a strong day, place left foot on top of the right and see how that goes. Downward facing dog, well done. You can keep moving and move through another vinyasa again. Or I'm just going to stay in down dog and take a few slower breaths. This is always up to you. You can modify your practice to suit how you feel on that day. And it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. Now it's from here. Step the right foot forward towards the right hand. And then look at the left foot, place it a little bit wider, so more towards the left edge of the mat. And then turn that left heel down. So the left heel or the left foot is in a 45-degree angle, more or less. If you want a milder pose, step a little bit closer. If you want a stronger pose, have a bigger distance between your feet. And then slowly lift up. Good. Now have the hands on the hips. It's very likely that your left hip is more back than the right, which is perfect, but just a little bit. Rotate the left hip towards the right knee. They're not going to face forward perfectly, but just in that direction, turn a little bit. And then the chest and the shoulders could probably turn more to face all the way forward, even though the hips are not all the way forward. And then from here, juice up your back leg. This is called Warrior One pose. Bend the front knee a good amount. And then finally, lift the arms. This is a full pose. We've done Warrior 2 and Warrior 3 before. And this is the last one in that trio of warrior poses. If this feels terrible in your sacrum, the lower back, then you can always turn the chest and the torso and the hips a little bit more towards the top left corner of the mat. Similar pose, but without the sort of cranking. For some people that really doesn't feel so good. So you can modify that if you want to. lower your hands, step back, down dog, or do a slow vinyasa. I sometimes see advanced students go to this really quick thing, plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. I would say rather just rest or take a little bit longer, because it's going to have a better effect on the long term. Left foot, step it inside the left hand. Right foot, place it a bit wider and turn the right heel down. Make that right leg super straight, so you're pushing the edge of that back foot down into the mat. And then when you feel ready, come up. Have the hands on the hips, just have more awareness of what is happening in your body. Turn the right hip a little bit in the direction of that left knee, and then bend the left knee a lot. And then lift the arms, turn the chest and the shoulders forward, warrior one. Or modified option for sensitive sacrum and lower back issues, turn a little bit towards the top right corner of the mat and stay a little bit at an angle. It's perfect. So just check which option is right for you. Nice. Lower the hands down and then just walk them to the middle in between the feet. Adjust the feet so that your feet are parallel to the short edges of the mat. Nice. So in this session we're exploring forward folds and twists, and this is one of my favorite combination of forward fold and a twist in the same pose. So let's see. Place your left fingertips under your face, so right in the middle of the mat. And then place your right hand on the lower back. Try not to move the legs, the feet, and the hips at all, but just turn your chest a little bit to the right. And with your head lengthen straight forward. Just a moment here to explore the stability of your legs, the lower body, and the openness, the twist in the upper body. Nice, release, swap hands, so right hand under face. Left hand on your lower back. Lengthen the chest forward, and then turn the chest to the left. Even if you turn a tiny little amount, there's no problem. Just go as far as you need to for your body. And then slowly release. Nice. Wiggle the feet a bit closer together and turn the heels in and the toes out. And come up with your hands to your knees. Nice. Some people's toes and knees will open more to the side. Some people will face more forward. I'm somewhere in the middle, but what everyone can do is to drop the hips down. To really sit down in this pose. This is the horse stance, sometimes called the goddess pose as well. It's also a common pose in a lot of martial arts practices. Really amazing to strengthen the hips, to open the muscles around the hip joints, the groin. Just hold for a moment or two. And then, thank goodness, fold forward, come out of that. Just hang down for a moment. You can hold opposite elbows, or you can let your arms just dangle. Relax the head, lengthen the spine. And these little moments of calm, of stillness, in between some tougher poses, they are as important as the strengthening work. So on the one hand, we need to focus, we need challenge, we need strength work, we need alignment. But on the other hand, we also need to let go and find the relaxing aspects of the pose. Both in combination together are a really strong combo. And then slowly release, walk your hands to your left foot, and then just step back to plank pose. Let's do one more of those chaturangas. Nice. Remember, there's the option of lowering the knees down. I'm going to do that option just so you remember that it is always there for you, even if you do this one for years, but you do it precisely and correctly. I would prefer that over straightening the legs too soon and injuring your shoulders. So if you go straight down, you notice the shoulders are in a terrible alignment. We need to go forward like we've done before. Keep the belly strong, then bend the elbows a little bit. And lower all the way down. Nice. Place your fingertips wide one more time. Lift the elbows. And then turn the left shoulder down, lift the right shoulder up, and look back over the right shoulder. Release. Other side. Right shoulder down, left shoulder up. Release. One more time to each side. Look over to the right. And look over to the left. Nice. Slowly release. You can make a pillow with the hands, rest the forehead for a moment. In yoga, we don't rush from one pose to the other. We take time to absorb the benefits, the after effects. Nice. Then from here, use your hands to push up. And then bring your right knee forward behind your right wrist. And make sure the right knee is a little bit to the outside edge of the mat. Now the right foot, bring it to the left edge of the mat. If you're really open in the hips, then you will be able to lift that foot higher. For me, this feels a little bit too much. If you're really tight, then the heel has to be all the way close to that hip here. I'll show you more on the other side. So I'd usually like to go somewhere in the middle, in between, about 45 degrees. And then if your right hip is floating off the mat, like mine, then just slide a block or a cushion or a blanket underneath it, so you have a little bit more support. Then the left leg, slide it back and bring it in line with that left hip. And then push through the hands. This pose is called Pigeon pose. A really great outer hip stretch, and really great if you spend a lot of time sitting. This is a good counter which you can do at any time. Nice. Slowly lower the elbows down. First I'll show you an active version of this pose, and then I'll show you a more restorative version. So in the active version, we're going to push that right knee down. We're going to push the right shin and the right foot down, almost like you're about to come up actually. So push, 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 and then lengthen that right hip back behind you. And then push your back leg into the mat as well, and squeeze it a little bit forward. And then do one more thing, arch your lower back. So instead of rounding, lift the tailbone up and press your elbows down to lift the chest out in front of you. So your upper body is almost the same as in Sphinx pose, but we're really getting to that right outer hip now. 3, push a little bit harder, 2, 1, and then release all the tension, let it melt away. You can make a pillow with your hands to rest the forehead, or you can reach the hands forward and soften down. Just relax. Right now, nothing is required of you. We're just softening down, allowing the pose and the breath to do the work. Almost like you are no longer an actor in this play. You're just watching intently. And then let's swap to the second side. You can remove that block if you're using it. Step back to down dog just for a moment to swap around. It could be good to walk the legs out or to circle the hips if that feels good. You probably notice quite a bit difference between the side we've done, the right, And in the left, which we haven't done yet, left knee, bring it forward, behind left wrist. Walk that right foot back. You can always look back to check the foot is in line. And if you want to block on the left hip, that's a good idea. Again, more intensity, bring the foot higher up. Less intensity, bring the foot closer to your hip. Nice. Come up onto fingertips just for a moment to explore the active version of the pose. And then elbows down, like in Sphinx. For also the active version, we'll do the restorative one just now. Push down through that left lower leg. Push down to the right leg and pull the two a little bit together. And then lengthen the left hip back. These are all quite subtle internal activations, but they'll make a huge difference in the effectiveness of the stretch. And then one more thing, instead of rounding your back, arch your back, especially the lower back. Drop the belly to the thigh and push your elbows down, pull the elbows towards you. So your chest is opening a little bit forward, just like Sphinx. Hold this active version. Squeeze the legs together for 3, 2, and 1. You have arrived. Welcome to your holiday. Soften the head down or reach the hands forward, relax the forehead, and don't do anything at all. Sometimes we're actually more used to the strengthening, the pushing harder, the challenges, the rush, and sometimes the letting go part, the softening, the letting go, is the hardest thing of all in our current society and lifestyle. We're way more used to the pushing one. So this can help to find a little bit more balance. Nice, walk the hands back up. Remove the block out of the way. And then just lower onto your left hip. You can lean to the side, swing the right leg forward, and lift your left knee up. Nice. And then allow the left knee to open to the side. I'm bringing my left foot inside the right thigh. And then lift your chest up. Now activate the right leg and the right foot. Find length in the spine. And if you already feel a good stretch here, you can stay here. But if you can't feel a lot just yet, then you can walk the hands a little bit forward until you feel, okay, this is enough for me, this is a good challenge. Sometimes these yoga poses, you can compare it to being at a party. Some people are already really happy after 1 or 2 drinks, and some people need a whole lot more drinks to get into that same happy atmosphere. And it's a little bit the same with the yoga poses. Some people feel a lot right up here, and then some people will lie all the way down on that leg before they can feel a similar sensation. So you can always adapt it to your preferences. You can hold this right foot here if it is within your reach, or if it is not within your reach, then you can wrap a strap or a belt around the ball of that foot, so you can still use the hands a little bit. Now, we never want to pull too much with the hands because it's an external force as far as that hamstring and the lower back is concerned. So just keep that a bit mild, but rather pull the belly back towards the back of the mat. And this will allow the chest to reach forward, and you're finding a lot more space in this forward fold. Nice, slowly lift up. And let's swap the legs, so the left leg goes out, right knee lifts up and then opens to the side. Slide the right foot inside the left thigh. Place your hands behind you to lift the chest, activate the left leg, left foot, don't just let them flop out there. Stay here. If this is your party, then you have arrived. If you can't feel anything, then you'll need to go a little bit further. which means lengthening the chest forward over your left leg. So the chest goes towards the left toes. Again, you can hold that foot, but it's not necessary. You can hold the shin, the ankle, or your belt or strap. And actually one of my favorite parts of this pose is not just the hamstring stretch, but is the way it gets into the lower back and really lengthens the muscles on the sides of the spine, the deep lower back muscles called the QL, quadratus lumborum. And if you sit a lot or you stay in the same posture for too long, then those muscles get really tight. So this, I find, a great way to invite a little bit of space into the lower back area. Slowly lift back up, straighten both legs out in front of you. Push the hands down, lift the chest. Strong active legs and feet. If it feels like you're leaning back, you just don't have space to sit up, then your only job is to lift the chest as much as possible and then walk your hands in until you can sit all the way up. Even if you lean a little bit back, it's okay. So this is your job, to sit up as straight as possible. If again, this does nothing for you yet, then keep the legs strong and start to pull the belly back to reach the chest forward towards the toes and rest your hands or hold the toes. But don't pull too hard with the arms. The real work is on the inside. And then again, as we're learning to let go and to soften and to find stillness, can you make that the most important part of the pose right now? And then slowly lift back up, hook your hands in, and then come to a comfortable seat on your mat. I'm going to sit on the block, or you can sit cross-legged or on the shins, however you like. Just make sure you're comfortable for a minute or two. Rest your hands on the knees. Lengthen the spine, but rest your lower body down on the earth and close your eyes. Just take a moment to park yourself off here. In many yoga traditions, the whole physical part, the stretches, the poses, the movements are only there to then sit comfortably and to meditate afterwards. Meditation, another word, could be brain training, mind gym. And this is an important part of yoga, just to be able to sit still. If you have never meditated before, then let it be simple. Just sit quietly and remove any sense of tension, of holding on in the body and in the mind. The mind's going to be way harder than the body. It's much more subtle, sometimes below the level of our consciousness. And now, can you look in deep below the surface and find that place of stillness deep inside? The place of stillness that we can rediscover through these practices. The part that's not affected by a little traffic jam or the fact that some of these yoga poses are a little bit hard for you at the moment. The place like a still lake deep in your center that you can always come back to. So for a moment, just sit by the shores of your still mountain lake. Now we have about 3 minutes left. If you would like to stay a little bit longer in a seated meditation or just sitting in stillness, then just stay where you are. I'll let you know when the hour is over. If you feel like you still need a bit of the final relaxation, the savasana, lying on your back, then this is a good time to move into that. You can stretch your heels to the corners of the mat and relax down on your back. Move around until the whole body says yes. Can you feel each cell in your body say yes? This is what yoga is about. It's a science or a technology to make this amazing machine of your body and mind function at its best capacity. To make each cell in the body feel vibrantly alive. Calm as well, but very, very alive. And then start to take a few deeper breaths. You're going to stay in seated meditation or final relaxation for longer, then please go ahead. If it's time for you to go, then move your hands and move your feet. Bend your knees and roll over onto your side. Slowly use your hands to press up into sitting and bring your palms together in front of the chest. Touch your hands to your forehead, to your heart, and bow to yourself on the mat. Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me for this session 4 in our Start to Yoga series. I hope this has given you a good basic idea of how to even get started with this yoga practice. I would say keep going. Hopefully this gives you a start to do something for the rest of your life. And I hope to see you back again soon.